Prepositions, types and usage. What are prepositions? A preposition is a word that comes before a noun or a pronoun. So every time you write a preposition in a sentence, make sure that it is written before a noun or a pronoun. And what does a preposition do? It shows the relationship of a noun with other words in a sentence. For example, the house is behind the road. Now, what are the two nouns in this sentence? House and road. And we have used preposition before the noun road. So, where is the house? The house is behind the road. The preposition behind is talking about the relationship between house and the road. So, what does a preposition do? It tells us about the relationship between noun and other words in a sentence. And it is always placed before a noun. Next, I will see you at 3 p.m. What is the noun or a pronoun here? I. And what is the relationship between I and other words in a sentence? It is the relationship of time. When will I see you? I will see you at 3 p.m. Now see, prepositions are very important in a sentence because if there is no preposition in a sentence, mostly the sentences will have no meaning. They would look incomplete. For example, I will see you 3 p.m. You can easily judge that there is something missing. The house is the road. It does not make any sense. The house is behind the road or the house is in front of the road. So prepositions talk about the relationship between a noun and other words in a sentence. Moving ahead, let's talk about some common prepositions. There are three major types of prepositions: prepositions of place, prepositions of time, and prepositions of movement and direction. First is prepositions of place. They tell us where something is. What does a place tell you? Place tells you about where an action goes on. And what is included in prepositions of place? Words like in, at, on, in front of, under, behind, below, above. Is he sleeping in your room? Now, which word is telling us about the place here? In. Now see, room is also telling you about place, but room is a noun. It is a name of a thing. So which other word is telling you about the place? In. I love that restaurant by the train station. Which word is telling you about place? Now train station is also a place, restaurant is also a place, but they are nouns, names of places. So the other word that talks about prepositions of place is by. I will see you at the theater. What word is telling you about the place? At, because theater is a noun, so you can't say theater is talking about the place. Okay? And when do we use at in sentences? I will see you at the theater. I will see you at, the school. At is used when you talk about the specific location. When you talk about exactly where you are or exactly where you are going to meet somebody. So talking about specific and particular locations, you would use at. Okay. So prepositions of place. One thing is all the prepositions will come before nouns. And secondly, prepositions of place talk about where a noun or a pronoun is. Moving ahead, prepositions of direction or movement. Now, direction and movement, what does it tell you? Direction and movement tells you about direction or movement of things from one place to another. Direction and movement talk about movement of people or movement of nouns or pronouns from one place to another. In which direction is something coming or going or moving? The car was coming towards us. Where was the car coming? In which direction? Towards. Towards is talking about movement from one place towards us. He ran past the bike. Past means that this person was so fast that he even crossed a moving bike. He was so fast that he ran past the bike. That means bike was left behind. So prepositions of direction and movement talk about direction in which something is coming, going, or moving. And this is one of the common differences between, now here there are two confusing words. One is in and one is into. What is the difference between these two? In talks about place, into talks about movement from outside towards the inside. For example, he is sitting in his room. Where is he sitting? In. That means he is already inside. He is going into the room. That means right now he is outside. Now he is moving from outside towards inside the room. So in means preposition of place, and into talks about movement from outside towards the inside. Now, moving ahead, prepositions of time. Prepositions of time, like the name suggests, talk about the time of an action, when something takes place. I have been waiting for 4 hours. I haven't seen him since 2008. What is the difference between for and since? For is used when you talk about the duration of an action. 4 hours, 5 hours. And it is used when you don't know when the exact action started. But you know the duration, you know for how long it is going on, but you don't know when it started. Then you will use for. I haven't seen him since 2008. Now I know in which year I saw him, and since that time I haven't seen him. So I haven't seen him since 2008. When you know the exact starting point of an action, you will use since. And when you want to talk about the duration, you would use for. I left this place 4 years ago. I left this place 4 weeks before he joined the company. Now what is the difference between ago and before? Ago is used when you want to talk about an action or an event that occurred in the past. And before is used when you compare an action that occurred in the past to something that has happened in the present. Now see, I left this place 4 years ago. This is an action that happened in the past. 4 years ago, I left this place. I left this place 4 weeks before he joined the company. So you are comparing two things. One is that somebody has joined a company now in the present, and I left this place 4 weeks before. When there is a comparison between an action in the past and something in the present, you would use before. And when you want to talk about the time duration that only in the past, then you would use ago. Okay. Now, let's have a practice of what we have done before. Read these sentences, and in the next slide, I will talk to you about the answers. We live dash London. Think about the answers. Or you can even write down the answers on a rough paper so that you know how many are correct. Where do you come? My birthday is dash June. I will see you dash night. I will have finished this essay dash Monday. She sits dash Susan and Greg. Think about the answers, and then I'll move on to the next slide. Moving on. We live in London. Where do you come from? My birthday is in June. I will see you at night. Now, before night, you will always use at. And before other times of the day like morning and afternoon, you would use in. I will have finished this essay by Monday. Or you could also say, I will have finished this essay before Monday. She sits between Susan and Greg. Now there's a difference between and among. Between is used when you talk about two people, and among is used when you talk about more than two. So you could say she sits between Susan and Greg because two people are here, Susan and Greg. Or you could say she sits between a lot of her friends. When you talk about more than two, you would use among. When you talk about two, you would use between. Now kindly go through all the three types of prepositions. Prepositions of place, prepositions of time, prepositions of movement and direction. And also go through these practice answers. Thank you.